Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 34 of the
hello.
Hobbies and Happiness podcast. I'm one of your host, Dan.
And I'm Jim, and today we're back.
Yeah, we
We're
are,
back.
baby. Oh man, dude, this is feels weird, but it feels great.
Yeah.
It feels great. So, hey, what's up, everybody? How you doing, man? Jim,
Good day.
how are you, man?
Good day.
I mean, I know I've seen quite a bit of you over the past couple of weeks, but this feels good. This feels great
know.
to finally get back to this.
I know.
Oh man, so we're back. Thank you for being here. So where have we been? What's been going on? Well, we're just jumping right into it. Why did we have a break, guys?
Yeah.
Well, and I know I mentioned it, but I moved.
It was
So,
Dan's fault.
Yes, I take full responsibility. This 100% was my fault.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we moved. We did not move far. We moved very, very close to where my previous house was.
You moved 2 minutes closer to me.
Yeah, I did. I moved 2 minutes farther from the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we moved. We closed on a house in November of last year. And essentially what happened was when we moved, we have this bad, it's not a bad habit, but and I did this in our last place too. We completely renovated the whole place. I ripped out all the floor on the main level. I installed all new floor, painted everything, all new appliances. I mean, and we are in the basement, but there's still boxes everywhere. Now there's not as many boxes as there were before.
No, not at all.
Yeah, but yeah. So I'm still in the process of moving my stuff in. Right now, as far as the studio goes, I'm excited because this is a new studio space for us. I'm excited that we
A
have
bit more room.
I am excited that we have a lot more room here. It's I'm really looking forward to this. This is going to be awesome. So when we started that move, we had the intention of still trying to doing content, trying to do a video. And I knew the video side was going to was going to eventually stop. I kind of figured because of the nature of the content that we do, we kind of need a studio. So
Yeah.
when we decided to move, I kind of immediately got into the mode of, okay, let's start thinking about other types of videos that we can do. And that was when we did the last two videos I think we did were the tier lists for DC Deck Builder for the superheroes, and then the 5 games that got us in tabletop.
Yes.
Those were a couple of different
I
ideas.
rewatched that one again recently.
Yeah. And it was a good video. But as far as post production goes, I always try and I set the bar high for myself when it comes to post production. But again, with me moving, I was under so much stress.
Yeah.
That was the stress of literally packing everything up and moving to a new location with 2 kids while working a full-time job and continuing to record and produce content. I'm like, I can't do it.
It's a lot.
One of the things that I was thankful for was we knew the previous owners to this location, to this house. So I was very thankful. They allowed us the opportunity to move stuff in slowly before we closed. So they were very generous and very, very willing to work with us. And we were so thankful for them to be able to work with us like that. So that was very, very nice. But as far as content, I could not do it. That was my biggest fear of going through that move was what it was going to do for us at Hobbies and Happiness.
Yeah.
Now, obviously it wasn't enough to stop me from doing it because we needed this. We needed this move, and I'm so thankful that God provided this house for us. But there's still some downsides, and I think Hobbies and Happiness was for me, it was the downside, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping to stay here for a very long time. We love the place. So that's the why.
Yep.
For the long and
Told you,
short of
Dan's
it,
fault.
that's the why. Yeah. So now, what now? Well, now we're at least back to recording the podcast.
Yeah.
At a minimum, we are back to recording the podcast on a weekly basis. So we're starting with the audio only until we can get all the video stuff up. Right now in the studio, I don't have any video equipment up yet. So that's on the list for stuff that needs to come up. So once we have the cameras back up installed, then we have to do set design. There's still a lot of stuff that we need to do, but I don't want that to stop us from making content.
Yeah.
So we're at least getting back to the podcast. I'm excited. Like this, it feels great. It feels really good just to be sitting here and talking with you, Jim. So that's the plan now. Once we get the studio kind of back up, then we'll get back into the rhythm of what we were doing.
Yes.
Excuse me, of like a video, at least starting off with a video a week. And then we'll go back to our 2 videos per week plus the podcast. So right now that's the plan. We're looking forward to producing different types of videos in the future for you guys. We can't wait to show you guys that. We've got a lot of different video ideas. So that was one of the
a house tour. We're not going to do a house tour.
Do a house tour. At least not now. Yeah, depending on, I might do the basement. Who knows? But not for a while. Definitely not now. I don't want to be showing off all these boxes everywhere.
Look at all these games we got.
There's literally just a wall of boxes of games because I've got nowhere to put them right now. Yeah. That's one of the things that
they look good there though. They look good.
Yeah. The only problem right now is you can't really get to them.
Yeah.
You can get to them, like to the box that they're in. Yeah. But other than that, you can't really. Yeah. It's not very helpful. It's really, it's not. It's just the nice thing is, and we purposely did this, is a lot of those containers, those clear containers, they're clear, so we can see what's inside of them.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, as opposed to, I have no idea what's in this box. Let's open it. The downside to those is they're just expensive. They're more expensive.
Oh, obviously. I see Pandemic over there. Did I tell you I got the World of Warcraft edition of Pandemic?
Yes, you did. Yeah. Have you played it yet?
I haven't played it yet, but I really want to paint the models.
Oh,
Oh,
it does.
It came with the Lich King, a lot of the characters from like the Horde and the Alliance in World of Warcraft. Okay. Yeah, I can't wait to paint them up. Oh. They're gorgeous.
How big are they?
They're not very big. It seemed, I would say they're on like a probably 32 millimeter base, and that doesn't really give you a whole lot of size to fit on there.
Yeah, right.
So. Yeah, like it's decent. But,
okay.
Yeah.
But they're like paintable. That's cool.
Exactly.
That's cool. Mm-hmm. That's always nice when any game gives you minis that you can paint like that. Is always cool.
Yes.
I have yet to get into miniature painting. I want to. I have every intention.
We'll do a video one day.
I have every intention of getting to that, but that is one thing that is on the list that I want to do. One of the other things that's on the list for us as far as what now? Streaming.
Yes.
It is on the horizon. We're not ready. Obviously, we're not ready to start yet with just where we are at in the studio. Is a little further down the road, but it is. We do want to start doing that this year. That's one of our goals for 2022 is to start streaming on the channel. So keep an eye out for that. So I think I've pretty much covered the what now. Was there there really wasn't much else, I don't think, as far as like what
I don't believe so. Just because we're still trying to get everything together. And we're going to be slowly building into it again.
The biggest thing for me is having a full-time job.
Yeah.
This is unfortunately right now, this is not my job. that is one of my goals. One of my goals is
One day.
is for that to happen.
Yeah.
But I only have so much time, and usually now that I'm really back to doing this is going to necessitate long nights. And and I'm not complaining. It's just the way
That's
it is.
what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. So other than that, so what have we been doing other than moving? What have we been doing? One of the things that Jim and I have been talking about for the past, I don't know how many weeks, is Cobra Kai.
Yes.
So when did season 4 release?
I don't like probably a week or two ago.
No,
2 weeks? It hasn't been out that long.
Really?
Yeah, because
I think it's been maybe 2 weeks. Maybe
I'd say about 2 weeks.
Okay. All right.
Maybe 3 at most, but I don't think it's been 3 weeks.
Okay.
So yeah, season 4 just came out for that, and I was telling Dan about it. I'm like, watch it.
So,
but he had to rewatch it.
So what happened was when Cobra Kai is on Netflix, when they're on season 4, when they came out with the show, it was on YouTube Premium.
Yes.
And I can't remember. It was a few years ago.
Yeah, season 1. So I believe it was 2018. Season 1 was when it was on YouTube. So
season 1 and 2, I believe, were on YouTube, right?
I don't believe season 2 was on YouTube. I know that they had season 1, and then I think Netflix bought it for season 2. Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, when they first came out with it, I was stoked for it because I loved watching the Karate Kid movies when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So when I saw that, I'm like, this is awesome. So I signed up for YouTube Premium just to watch the show, and they canceled it.
You know what I thought when I first saw it? I'm like, great, another company trying to remake something from the past just to get quick money. And then I watched it, I'm like, this is amazing.
It is, man. Like it's so great. Anyway, if you've never watched Cobra Kai, it's on Netflix. If you have Netflix, go watch it.
I love the writers so much. They do such a good job putting all that stuff together.
Oh, they do. It's one of the best shows. So Karate Kid came out in mid 80s, I think.
I think it was 84.
I think was the first one. They came out with 3 movies: Karate Kid 1, 2, and 3 with Ralph Macchio and Pat Morita. And William Zabka was essentially he was the antagonist in the first movie.
I thought he was the Karate Kid.
Yeah.
He's the real Karate Kid.
Well, did you ever watch How I Met Your Mother?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I saw the episode.
Okay.
I didn't really watch the series.
So I never watched either. I saw those clips. I'm like, okay. So William Zabka and Ralph Macchio they did cameos in How I Met Your Mother, and Neil Patrick Harris's character Barney. He was like William Zabka was the Karate Kid, and I can't remember when this video came, but there was a video on YouTube. I can't remember who produced it, but basically it was going through of why Daniel LaRusso was the villain, and Johnny Lawrence was the Karate Kid. Because they were basically laying out the case for why Daniel LaRusso was the bully. Yeah. And I'm 100% on board. Like even before watching Cobra Kai, I watched it and I'm like, you know what? You're right.
Yeah, man.
So if you've ever seen the original Karate Kid movies, you definitely need to watch Cobra Kai.
Even if you haven't seen the original Karate Kid movies.
Right. But especially if you've seen it, they do such an amazing job bringing in literally all of the characters from those movies and bringing them back to today, and then basically introducing Karate Kid to a whole new generation. I'll be interested to see if they bring Hilary Swank into an episode, because she was in a Karate Kid movie with Pat Morita, Mr. Miyagi. She was like the next Karate Kid. The next Karate Kid. Yeah. So that's in the same universe.
I was actually watching like a little interview with the characters, and they were saying like, is there any way that Jaden Smith and Jackie Chan would come into it? He's like, it's not technically the Miyagi universe, so they probably
won't.
But then he was like, but Hilary Swank could actually come in.
Like Hilary Swank is
she's canon.
Yes, she is canon. Yes, correct. But unfortunately, Jackie Chan and Jaden Smith are not. Like that'd be cool, but it wouldn't work.
Yeah.
Because I think I saw the interview because I think that was Ralph Macchio was the one talking about that.
Exactly.
So would that be cool? Yeah, but it would be weird and it would not work.
Yeah.
It wouldn't make sense. So yeah. Anyway, Cobra Kai, check it out. Season 4 now on Netflix. If you have not watched it, you definitely. What are you doing? Just go watch it. You'll thank us later. Trust me.
Speaking of another show on Netflix.
Yeah, Witcher.
Woo!
The Witcher. All right, so season 2 came out December 19th, I think.
Yeah, something along those lines. 17th.
Okay, so have you watched the full season?
Yes.
Season 2. Okay,
Yeah.
What did you think? What did you think about season 2?
Oh man, I really liked it.
Yeah.
The fact that all of the characters, like the main characters of the show, pretty much were all together in it. Like really from the start.
Yeah.
Because then you think about season 1, there was a lot of jumping back and forth between all the characters, between Geralt, Yennefer, and Ciri, because they just weren't together, and you're developing all these different characters.
Right. But the way they did that too was you thought it was all at the same time, but then you find out, when we're telling the story of Geralt, this was like 10 years prior or whatever.
Yeah.
They did that so well in season 1. And that was one of my favorite things about season 1.
Yeah, they did a really good job on season 1. I just like in season 2 that since they're pretty much all together at that point, they can progress the story,
the overall story.
Yeah, the overall story a lot quicker.
Right.
So,
which they
and
did.
that first episode was amazing.
Was it not?
Goodness.
What so after I saw the first episode, I texted Jim and I was like, dude, that first episode was better than all of season 1. I still stand by that.
I don't think
because
it's as
season
good
1
as
was
all of
amazing.
season 1.
Season 1 was amazing, but that encapsulated how much I loved and thought of that first episode of season 2.
Yeah.
It had everything that I'm looking for in The Witcher.
Yeah.
In the show. So
and it was dark.
It was so dark. But it was great.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah.
So if you had to pick, potential spoilers, but if you had to pick one, like your favorite part of season 2, what would it be? I know I'm putting you on the spot because I just thought
honestly,
about this,
I really like the end of season 2 with who the bad guy is.
Oh, I agree. I'm there.
Oh my.
Dude. So okay.
Well, actually, all right. So I just want to say, like, the whole arc of that bad guy is what I'll say.
Well,
I really just like that character as a whole.
So I didn't know because like that is canon.
Yeah.
So that is canon in the story. Okay, can we just talk about it? I mean, okay, here, okay, we're talking about spoiler. Okay, spoiler alert for Witcher season 2. Now, I will say, if you have read the Witcher books, it's not a spoiler. Like you knew this, you would have known this coming into it. Okay, so what happens at the end of season 2? Basically, they reveal who the White Flame is, essentially. Yeah. Okay, and the White Flame is basically the Nilfgaardian king. Yeah. Essentially.
Yeah.
Like in all practicality, that's what it is. Okay. Yeah. Throughout the series, he's been referred to as the White Flame.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I just want to make sure that that's not who I'm talking about.
That's not who you're talking about? Then who are you talking about?
I say the bad guy in terms of like who was causing a problem to Geralt at the end.
There were so many. Okay, then
when Ciri gets possessed by the witch.
Oh, okay. The what her name? What's her name again?
I don't know her name. I just call her Baba Yaga.
Yeah,
because she's got a chicken house, and you can't tell me this isn't Baba Yaga's house.
So the villain, well, one of the villains, right, was
But
man,
yes, the thing with the king is amazing.
Yes.
Or the white flame is
yes,
amazing.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
But that was what I was saying was they
Okay.
knew you would have known that
Yeah.
going
Yeah.
into that if you read the books, which this is making me want to read the Witcher books. But that character, the Baba Yaga that you were saying, I believe they made that character for the show. That's not a character from the books or anything.
Okay.
So, but yeah, that was
Yeah.
good. That was really cool.
Because I've already had this plan for like a few months now for D&D. I want to make a low level campaign where the bad guy is a hag or a witch, whatever you want to call them.
Okay.
And they really, torture the characters, the playable character, or the PCs in the group, and just mess with them mentally.
Yeah.
And just put them through. And sure, the actual fight might not be difficult because a hag, point wise, isn't really strong.
Yeah, but in those cases, a lot of times you're not fighting them. They're gonna make you fight each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So like that
For
was my whole
sure.
plan. And I'm like, this is beautiful as a story, and I like the whole character of
Yeah, it was cool.
getting into the three, Yennefer. The elf lady, and I forget the other.
I've got the faces.
warlock.
I just can't remember the.
And she was like getting in their head of, do this for me.
Yep.
I'll take care of you,
Dude, when the elf queen, or I can't remember what her name is, when she just all out and slaughtered all those.
Oh yeah, putting
all
the
those
markings on,
babies.
and then she's like, bye.
Oh my goodness! I'm watching and I'm like, oh my goodness! I could not believe it.
It was
It
nuts.
was crazy. It was dark.
I love that the witch feeds on pain and
it was
distress.
cool.
Oh,
yeah,
my goodness.
I mean, it's dark for sure. It is dark, but from a storytelling perspective, like it was so good. I thought it was very good.
Yeah.
But as far as the Nilfgaardian king, the White Flame, when I saw that, because I did not know. I did not know that was the case. I'm like, what's going on? I knew, because for all I knew, Dooney was dead. For all I knew, he was dead.
At first, I thought the fire guy was Ciri's dad because when they showed like the little
fire guy.
flashback, the guy who got his face burned because Yennefer spit the beer at him. Or that guy.
Yeah.
I first
He was
like
cool.
thought that was the dad because they
Yeah.
looked a whole lot like each other, and I was like, okay, maybe that isn't her dad.
No, but I did not see that one coming with bringing Dooney back and saying he was Ciri's father, which, I mean, he is Ciri's father.
Yeah.
But still, that he was the White Flame, I'm like, oh my word,
And
that
when-
was so good.
I don't know her name. The black lady. She's the witch or the wizard, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, I can't remember what
when
her name
she
is.
stopped, or when she like had everyone drink whatever paralysis.
Oh,
stuff,
yes.
and she just
And she
destroyed them. I'm
slaughtered
like,
them
oh
all.
my god!
It
Oh
was-
my god!
There were so many
Yeah.
times where I was like, I could not believe what I was watching. Like, it was
Yeah.
crazy. But it was great. If you are a fan, I mean, The Witcher is basically science fiction fantasy. Is
Yeah.
basically what The Witcher is. It's not straight fantasy.
Yeah.
It's like it's basically science fiction. But it's great. It's fantastic. If you've never, I mean, how I got into The Witcher was the video games. That's how I got into that universe. And that's probably how a lot of people did. But before, the video games were the books.
Yeah.
And now I want to read the books. So anyway, that's Witcher season 2 again on Netflix. Go catch up on season 1 and 2
Yes.
of the show. Okay, 2 other things. Briefly, just want to mention Legends of Runeterra. Still playing Legends of Runeterra very regularly, mostly just on my phone. But now that I got my desk all set up, playing that a little bit on there, but mostly on my phone. That's the nice thing about these games. The card games that are on the phones is just, it's super easy to just quick up and play a match. So
Yeah.
I finally started playing ranked on there, and it's fun. Anyway, so yeah, Legends of Runeterra, and then I know Jim's been doing a little bit of Splinterlands.
Yeah, I've been playing that pretty hardcore since August.
Yep,
So
Look forward to, I don't know when we're going to do it, but we are definitely going to do an episode that's basically all talking about NFTs and crypto, mostly NFTs in the tabletop space, and the card gaming, because it's mostly going to be more towards the card gaming side, because again, that's more towards our interest and our expertise.
We get to talk about Gods Unchained and Skyweaver too. Along with
a lot of these things that I'm going to
ones.
have to like read up on. It's not necessarily outside my lane, but it's just it's more up Jim's alley than it is mine, to be honest. But yeah, they're great. So we're definitely gonna be doing episodes.
Blockchain gaming.
Basically, yeah. Because there's a lot of people have a lot of strong opinions.
I know.
In that topic.
I know.
One of like I kind of want to shy away from it, but I don't, because it's something that honestly it's what we are doing.
Yeah.
And it's a really good opportunity for anybody.
I think it's mostly just people afraid of the future.
That I think a lot of it is, again, this quote has been thrown around so many times in so many different contexts, but people fear what they don't understand.
Yeah.
And like, especially on the internet, when you're in these forums like Twitter and Facebook or whatever, you know, you don't have a lot of time to say what you think, and if you don't understand, it's a very easy to just say, well, it's bad.
Yeah.
But that's not necessarily the case. But it's also, it's easy to do that. It's also a lot harder to say, I don't know enough about this. Let me go do the research and figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
So and again, even in this space, in NFTs and the blockchain, in tabletop and card gaming, there's still going to be people who come up on different sides, and that's okay. And I always want to make sure that we're saying we will have our own views and our own opinions, but it's okay if people have disagreements. Like, it's always going to be fine.
Yeah.
So, and I want to, and I always want to stress that it's always okay if someone doesn't agree with you, but you know, just still be cordial, be nice, and talk about it. Because honestly, one of the things that I like to do is, if someone disagrees with me, I want to know why.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong, but also in order for me to understand you better, like Jim, if he disagrees with me on something, in order for me to better understand him, like, it helps me to know what he's thinking about a particular issue, to know just more about how he thinks.
Yeah.
That's a lot of the times how I approach a lot of these issues. So just something to think about. Keep that in mind. All right. So now we're moving on to what is in the future for games that we're excited for coming up this year. So we've got a few games that we want to talk about. The first being, there's a new Villainous expansion coming out in March. So the expansion is called Bigger and Badder, I believe.
I believe so.
It is going to feature the first Pixar villains. So we have 3 villains in this set.
Sinestro.
Yep, that's Syndrome.
I knew that.
So I don't even know why we did this, because it wasn't even an accident. I think we just did it on purpose. When we were playing DC Deck Builder, this Sinestro's card came out. Or did you do that on accident?
At first, it was a complete accident.
Was it really?
Yeah, it was complete accident when I first said it. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to keep saying it now.
So we did. We just kept going with it. And it was hilarious.
Yeah.
So anytime we saw Sinestro, or anytime I saw Sinestro, I'm just like, it's Syndrome. But no, it was Sinestro. Yeah. So yeah, Syndrome is in this set. He is from the first Incredibles movie. Then you have Lotso Bear, the main antagonist from Toy Story 3.
I hate him so much.
And why? He's
him.
a huggable bear who smells like strawberries. How could you hate that?
F him.
I can't remember who voiced him. I've got the picture.
Mm-hmm.
I've got his picture in my head, but I can't remember. He's a great actor. Yeah, he was a good villain, I thought, in that movie. And then we also have one of my favorites, Madam Mim from The Sword and the Stone. Jim, do you have any idea who that is?
No. No, I don't.
So Sword in the Stone is a classic, and you know what? As I'm talking, I do want to pull this up real quick here. But But when
it's not my fault. I don't know everything about these Disney movies.
well,
I mean, I guess it is kind of my fault, right?
I mean, I was gonna be like, yes. I mean, whose fault would it be?
My parents. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so Madam Mim was from. Oh, of course, this isn't.
Time
it's
to pull
okay.
up Google.
Yeah, time to pull up Google. All right, here we go. So let's type in
The Sword and the Stone.
the sword and.
That one's with Arthur.
Yes.
Little
So
dude.
The Sword and the Stone was made in 1963.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure my parents still have that VHS. To be honest with you. So Sword in the Stone, 1963. It's basically about King Arthur.
That's actually older than both of my parents.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My dad was born in 1969.
Yeah. So Sword in the Stone is a classic. I mean, I remember watching that movie so many times when I was a kid. So Madam Mim is basically because Merlin is in that movie, right? And he's trying to help out Arthur. But this is before Arthur. I mean, this is Arthur when he was a kid, right? So you've got Merlin, who's a sorcerer, and then Madam Mim is basically the other sorceress. Yeah, like she's a very good character. She's a lot of fun. So when they announced this, they released this little snippet of what villains are in it and how they're going to play. So we're going to read it here. So in more detail, just like in The Incredibles, Syndrome will face off against Frozone and the Parr family, using his minions and advanced technology to come out ahead. To win as Syndrome, players need to upgrade the Omnidroid, then defeat it and all heroes in his realm. Oh, so that's interesting.
Seems rough.
I don't know if we've seen another villain in the game so far have that type of win condition.
Yeah.
Because what it sounds like is you have to defeat everything.
Yeah.
Including so I'm assuming the villain I'm assuming the Fate deck is going to have all of the Incredibles, probably also Frozone.
Yeah, that's what it's saying. Frozone and the Incredibles.
And I don't think there's going to be any because this is
five?
just from the probably 5 plus the Omnidroid.
Yeah.
So you've got potential total for 6 total heroes. Well, I mean, the Omnidroid wouldn't be hero, but I would assume on the board it would act because I would assume it would act like a hero.
Yeah.
Here's my and who knows? Maybe because where it says players need to upgrade the Omnidroid, then defeat it and all heroes in his realm. So I assume the Omnidroid will start as an ally. Okay, on your board, you're looking to upgrade it.
Right.
Then it will turn into it will act like a hero.
Yeah.
So kind of like Yzma Kronk, where Kronk can go from be a hero
he goes both ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He goes both ways.
Wink.
So
both ways being good and evil because he has the two different.
Correct. Thank you for that clarification.
Yeah.
So because there's that point in that movie when he's trying to show everybody I'm Syndrome and he's got the thing on his wrist and then the droid shoots it and then now he can't control it anymore. So that's what I think. That's what it sounds like. So that's Syndrome. And then we have Lotso seeks to control Sunnyside Daycare by reducing 4 heroes' strength, utilizing a game mechanism new to Disney Villainous, and moving those heroes to the toddler's caterpillar room. So that's interesting. So by reducing a total of 4 heroes' strength. Okay, so that'll be interesting how they do that. So kind of like -1 counters.
Yeah.
And then moving them to a specific location. Yeah. So that'll be interesting. And then finally, those playing as Madam Mim will need to win a wizard's duel against Merlin using Mim's transformations to defeat Merlin's. So in the movie, there's a scene when Madam Mim and Merlin go at each other. And basically what they're doing is they just continue to transform into a lot of different animals. So at one point, Madam Mim turns into a dragon. And like at the beginning of the duel, so they duel it out and they're like, all right, what are the rules? So they lay out some ground rules. And then, of course, Madam Mim breaks the rules. So then Merlin's like, you know what? Screw this. I'm going to break the rules too.
Screw the rules.
So at one point, so Madam Mim turns into a dragon. The way Merlin wins is he turns into bacteria. And so he gets her sick because he basically turns into a virus.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting. It's kind of funny. It's kind of funny.
Dan, spoilers.
Oh, come on. It's for a movie that's been out since 1963. But what I threw this out to Jim a few days ago. I was like, we're going to just start watching all of these movies here.
Yeah.
Like one at a time.
We're going to start with Frozen.
Yeah, the one that he's seen.
Multiple times.
It's a good movie. It's a great movie. So, so that's the next villainous expansion called Bigger and Badder. The only information we have now is that it's a March 2022 release. That's all we know at the moment.
So relatively soon.
Yeah, relatively soon. The next thing is Skyter Horde.
Yes.
I am so excited about this game.
Yeah.
So Skyter is still a game that we've yet to feature on the channel. We've got it, but we need to start playing it. Basically, it's a MOBA on tabletop.
Yes.
So it's kind of like a mix of Magic too, because there is deck building. There's a lot of cards involved. So we want to get into that. Excuse me. Wow. But Skyter Horde is it's in the Skyter universe, okay, utilizing their heroes. But it's essentially their take on tower defense. So it's tower defense in a card game, basically.
This one sounds really cool.
It sounds very cool. So I've backed it on Kickstarter. I remember we met Yakumo, is the creator, one of the creators of the game. Very, very cool, very nice guy. Met him at Gen Con.
They flew halfway across the world.
Yeah, halfway across the world to get to Gen Con. So I'm looking forward to getting into that game and just Skyter in general. It's a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to getting into that more.
And I'm ready for the next Gen Con.
Yeah, that'll. They just announced something. I think. I think they announced something, but I think it was basically just here you can buy tickets or something. I can't even remember.
Okay.
I'll have to look.
Okay,
I'll have to look.
Man, that was so much fun.
It was, dude. All right, so next we're gonna talk about Dice Throne and Marvel Dice Throne.
Yes. This game looks so cool,
dude. I don't know what happened, but I just one day I came across it. Oh, I think it was the Marvel Dice Throne.
Yeah.
When they did their Kickstarter,
we had the little podcast, correct? Or we had a video talking about it.
Yeah, we watched the video, right?
Yeah.
So I backed the Kickstarter. Then I'm like, season 1. All 8 heroes in season 1. I'll pick it up. And so there it is over there. And then season 2, yeah, we'll get that too. And then they also have Dice Throne Adventures, which is basically their legacy version. It's a legacy version that you go through.
Okay.
So we will 100% be showcasing games.
I'm playing that Pyromancer first.
I know.
Okay.
I know you are.
He knows.
There's a lot of awesome characters for that.
Isn't there also a ninja?
There's
believe?
a ninja. There's so many different ones.
Yeah.
There's a barbarian. There's a lot of different characters. So I'm looking forward to getting into that and playing all of those characters and just really diving into that game. Dice Throne, definitely look forward to that. If you've ever played it, let us know what you think. Let us know your thoughts of that game. Okay, and then next, Dice Masters.
It's time to dice. Dice.
So Dice Masters.
That's a Yu-Gi-Oh thing.
Oh, is it? Okay, all right. That's why I didn't get it.
Yeah,
my bad.
It's all right.
Dice Masters has been out for a long time. So I think I'm pretty sure I've talked about this on the podcast before, but when I got into this space, one of my wife's cousins he's been in this space for a while and he loves Dice Masters. That's how he got into playing a lot of the games that he played.
Yeah.
So he's got a lot of Dice Masters. I don't know if he still has it. He may have gotten rid of it, but he's very familiar with the game and loves it. So I picked up a box. Oh,
D&D version.
a D&D
Yeah.
version because
Yeah.
they have different IPs. They have
Adventures in Waterdeep?
yes,
Yeah,
correct.
that was cool.
Yep, that was the box. It's the campaign box, Adventures in Waterdeep. So Jim and I played it a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
First time we've both played it. So Jim, real quick, what was your quick thoughts of that game? Now, granted,
Well, before we started playing it correctly,
Yeah.
I was like, holy cow, this game can be ridiculously fast.
oh
but-
yeah.
Because, like, I was attacking with my creatures and then just putting them back into the, the
Yeah.
ready zone to
Right.
then attack the following
Right.
turn.
If they were undefended.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then so I was just like, this game is really fast. But it's also really cool.
And granted, we only played in the campaign box. They gave they gave you a certain amount of cards and heroes. And I think we basically played more of a streamlined version.
Yeah, it was like the intro version.
Yeah. So like we only had like 4 cards or something like that, if I can even remember.
We had 2 on the side and then 2 generic
Oh
ones.
yeah, so we had 2 of our own heroes that we could play, and then the 2 actions. I think there were the 2 actions, which those were available to both of us.
Yeah.
So normally I think you build like your team is like consists of like 10 characters or something like that. There's a lot more versatility in there,
Yeah.
and then a lot more dice that you add to it.
Yeah.
But again, for us, that was just learning how the game works, and it was cool. Like, but anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, and then after our game, I was going back looking at the characters because you're supposed to pick like one of the 3 of the same character, and they have different effects. And going back, I was like, yeah, I definitely would have taken this card instead. And
right.
now this one doesn't really make sense. And,
But I mean, that's how it always works too.
Yeah,
That's how it
yeah.
always works when you're first playing a game and you have no clue how anything works. You're just like, well, you're just using your best judgment to make it your best educated guess. So yeah.
But yeah, other than not really knowing what I was doing and kind of regretting what I did, the game was really cool.
I think I won,
Pretty
but
fleshed
it
out,
was
yeah.
it was close.
Yeah, I got you down
think.
to 1 life.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
And so yeah.
yeah.
And then the dice were just not on my side.
What I have heard, dice thrown is compared to Magic plus Yahtzee. That's dice thrown. So we have yet to say if we think that's true. But for Dice Masters, like there's not much magic in that game at all.
Yeah, pretty much at all. It's
Yeah,
just
because-
like whatever you rolled is
Because your
your
cards, your cards is all done beforehand. It's basically deck building. Like you build a deck, yes.
Yeah, it's
but
more deck building than anything.
during the game, you're not utilizing your deck at all.
Yeah.
You're not. You're basically building your strategy beforehand, and then during the game, it's all about the dice.
Yeah.
Because it's basically what you do is at the beginning of your turn, you pick 4 dice from your bag,
Yeah.
and then roll the dice, and then whatever you get, you can basically.
Well, even at that
basically
point, I
use.
say it's like the deck builders because, the cards that you brought with, or even the generic ones, you're buying those with the resources that you get from your main deck, which are just your bag of dice, and you're evolving your quote unquote deck or your bag, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, that makes sense. I can see that.
Yeah.
I mean,
And then
I
you're
don't.
shuffling it up and
I
getting
don't know.
4 cards every turn.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's actually a good
You're
analogy.
losing your resources at the end of your turn. if
That's
you
a
don't
good
use them.
analogy.
Yeah.
That's a good analogy. I think that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, hopefully we'll do some videos on the game. Again, like it's been out for so long. There's so many. It's funny because with this game, you have to get the cards and you have to get dice too.
Yeah.
So it's a little different. So I'm like personally, like it's something I want to get into. But yeah, it's been out for a long time. But yeah, so I'm glad we finally got to play it at least. So now we at least know what it's about.
I looked more into the Yu-Gi-Oh cards for Dice Masters,
Yep.
and those cards have a high mana cost, is what I'll say. Like 6.
Yeah, yeah, they
For
cost
the
a lot.
Blue
right?
Eyes White Dragon, it's just like, yeah, here's 6 to buy it. Okay.
Yeah. And then, I think lastly, I'm going to basically throw all of the LCGs in here, meaning, and those 3, we've got Lord of the Rings, Arkham Horror, and Marvel Champions. Okay.
Yeah.
With Lord of the Rings and Arkham Horror, both of those games now have revised core sets. Lord of the Rings, the living card game, has been out for 10 years. So they have a new, a revised core set box. In addition to that, they have starter decks. 6 starter decks, which I may or may not have pre-ordered.
Sounds about right.
But what's very cool is these starter decks, like you would think, who knows how you would think, but like there would definitely be people who would think, oh, that's probably just a bunch of different cards that have been out for a long time. Yeah. They're just packaging them together that go well. So here's in a news article here from Fantasy Flight. For longtime fans of Lord of the Rings, the card game, if you already own all of the game's expansions, you will not find any new cards in any of these starter decks. However, you may find it helpful to have one of these decks on hand when you introduce a friend to the game, since these decks have been tailor-made for new players. So one of the cool things that I think is with these sets, they're not packaging any new cards. These are all new cards.
Or they're not packaging any.
Existing. That's what I meant. Yeah, right. These are all new cards in these starter decks, and that's awesome. I mean, for any card game player, like that's great. Mm-hmm. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So both Arkham Horror and Lord of the Rings have revised core sets. Basically, they're trying to get new people into the game. Mm-hmm. So the fact that Lord of the Rings basically now has new content for you to consume and try and go out there and play with these cards is fantastic. Arkham Horror, they recently came out with their next expansion set, Edge of the Earth, I believe.
It also makes sense for Lord of the Rings to have these brand new cards inside the starter decks because, they're releasing stuff that is old or releasing some stuff that is old, but then also wanting to have the old players still buying the new stuff.
Yeah, right.
So
right, yeah. I mean that makes sense. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, and then Marvel Champions, they have their next set. Basically their story set, their deluxe expansion is Sinister Six. So they're gonna have another. Their Miles Morales is going to be one of the heroes, and then I think Spider-Gwen is the other hero that's going to be in that game, and then along with all the Sinister Six villains. So that should be. I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be cool. Marvel Champions. Oh man, we got to get more into that game. There's just so many of these great games that I want to showcase. Yeah, so one of the next videos I want to do is we want to basically redo the campaign. The game that we played and we lost against Rhino.
Now that we know what we're doing.
But yeah, that was your first time playing Marvel Champions, wasn't it?
Yeah, I've never played it before.
What did you think of that time? And that was fun, right?
Yeah, so when I started to get the equipment for Iron Man, part of me was like, oh man, I don't have these units to to kind of protect me, but put consistent pressure on, but the equipments that he has already does that. So it's more so the units that you would throw out on the board is more so just of a protection for you, but you had other ways to protect yourself. You're mitigating 1 point of damage for the body piece, I think it was, and then you're able to deal 1 or 2 damage with the hand blast. I don't know what that's called.
Yeah, right.
So, but yeah, overall, they, especially for Iron Man, the specific cards, the character specific cards, they did a really good job with those.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
There's a lot of different heroes out now, so I'm looking forward to diving more into that game.
I want to play Protection Captain America.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So there's a lot. There's just so much. There just is. There really is. So that's kind of it. That's kind of everything we wanted to touch on today. Yeah, with the biggest thing just being we're back, baby.
Yeah.
We
We're
are
back.
back.
Yeah,
We're
we are.
back, and we are ready to. I mean, I know we're in like we're about the third week of January. Yeah. I think we're in the third week of January. So,
I was
wanting
gonna say,
to.
what's today? The 15th?
Yeah.
Yeah, the
I don't know
15th.
when we're posting this, but
It's
when we're
technically the
recording
third
it.
week, yeah.
When we're recording it, yeah. So, yeah. So wanting to really get 2022 off on a good start for hobbies and happiness. So, thanks everybody for we got a few messages from people who were wanting to know when we're coming back. And you know what? That meant a lot. That meant a lot to us. Didn't really know that people were really liking what we're doing, but we appreciate it. We really appreciate it. So getting messages like that is always nice. Trying to tell people we're coming back. Don't worry. But we've just got stuff we got to take care
And
of.
soon I'll play another Queen of Hearts game. It's not a problem at all. That's the first one I'm playing.
I bet. Yep.
I hope it is.
Yep. We'll see. We'll see.
We
Now
going
we need to
undefeated
do
3-0?
we need to do we need to do a rematch of the Horn King one, and you can play it right.
I don't know if I can anymore. I'm like, that's a huge nerf, Dan.
Yeah.
Huge nerf. Guy's terrible now. Unplayable.
So so we'll be back next week, and then I'm hoping this week to just get a lot more work done in the studio and kind of start. We're gonna start getting video equipment set up, and then start working on set design. But yeah, I mean, definitely within the next couple of weeks or so, we will be back to doing video content for sure. I can't wait. And so yeah, so Jim, where can people find you on the interwebs?
Yeah, you guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Jim Morgan HNH.
You can find me on Instagram at Daniel.G.Campbell and Twitter at _DG Campbell. And then you can find Hobbies and Happiness on just about any social platform, Hobbies and Happy. If you go to our website, hobbiesandhappiness.com, you can find links to basically all of our content there. And one of my big goal for this year is to really flesh out our website, really get that up and going. And there's a lot more that we want to be doing as far as our website goes. So stay tuned for that. So thanks again, everybody, for being here. Thank you. I'm excited to get back, excited for what 2022 is going to bring for us in Hobbies and Happiness. So thank you again for being here, and we will catch you in the next episode. See you, everybody.
Take care.